The 1950s were more than jukebox smiles and sock hops. R&B was restless. It was pushing boundaries, bending rules, and slipping coded messages past radio censors who weren't listening closely enough. While the genre laid the groundwork for soul and rock and roll, it also stirred controversy. Some songs were banned, others were whispered about. A few made parents panic, pastors preach, and teenagers lean closer to the radio. These records weren't shocking because they were loud. They were shocking because they were honest. They spoke about desire, independence, movement, heartbreak, and hope at a time when black expression was tightly controlled and carefully policed. These are the R&B songs from the 1950s that crossed lines, sparked outrage, and quietly changed music forever. Number 12. I Got a Woman by Ray Charles. When I Got a Woman hit the airwaves in 1954, Ray Charles didn't just release a hit, he ignited a cultural firestorm. The melody, the call and response phrasing, the emotional lift, it all came straight out of the black church. But the lyrics weren't about Sunday morning salvation. They were about love, desire, and devotion to a woman. For many pastors and radio gatekeepers, that crossed an unforgivable line. Church leaders condemned it as gospel music misused. Some stations refused to play it at all. Others spun it cautiously. She's all right. She's all right. Aware they were broadcasting something dangerous for the time. But listeners felt something different. In crowded juke joints and late-night dance halls, the song moved people in a way no polite pop tune could. It felt spiritual and physical at the same time. Hands clapping, bodies swaying, eyes closing like testimony on the dance floor. I Got a Woman didn't just survive the backlash. It helped invent soul music itself. Ray Charles proved you could take the emotional power of gospel and place it firmly in everyday life. Love, struggle, joy, and desire included. That single decision reshaped R&B forever and opened the door for artists like Sam Cooke, Aretha Franklin, and Al Green to follow. This wasn't rebellion for shock value. It was truth sung out loud, and it changed everything. Number 11. Dedicated to the One I Love by the Five Royales. When Dedicated to the One I Love was released in 1957 by the Five Royales, it sounded gentle on the surface. But its emotional honesty made many radio programmers uneasy. At a time when R&B was expected to be upbeat, playful, or safely romantic. This song leaned into something far more intimate. The vocal delivery trembled with longing. The harmonies felt confessional, almost private. Like a letter never meant to be read aloud. The Five Royales were already known for blending gospel phrasing with street-level soul. But here, the connection was unmistakable. Beneath the love lyrics lived the structure and emotion of a spiritual, blurring the line between sacred devotion and romantic need. That blur was the controversy. Some stations limited its airplay, uncomfortable with how deeply it pulled listeners into a personal emotional space. But late at night, when radios were turned low and lights were dim, the song found its audience. Teenage couples shared headphones. Long-distance lovers played it on repeat. It wasn't background music. It was felt. Years later, cleaner pop versions would bring the song wider fame. But this original recording remains the blueprint, raw, aching, and sincere. Dedicated to the one I love, marked a turning point, when R&B stopped just entertaining and started confessing. Number 10, Shake, Rattle, and Roll, by Big Joe Turner.
Gets crazy, no? Down low.
When Shake, Rattle, and Roll hit in 1954, Big Joe Turner wasn't trying to be subtle, and that was exactly the problem. Released on Atlantic Records, this track brought Kansas City blues straight into America's living rooms, with a wink and a grin that radio censors couldn't ignore. The rhythm was driving, the delivery was booming, and the lyrics were packed with double entendres that barely bothered to hide what they meant. Lines about getting busy and rolling all night were far more explicit in Turner's original version than in the cleaned-up covers that followed. Conservative radio stations panicked. Some refused to play it. Others demanded toned-down alternatives. But in the clubs, the real version ruled. Picture it. Late-night juke joints, sweat in the air. Couples dancing just a little too close, laughing because everyone understood the joke. This wasn't polite romance. This was grown folk music.
Way down underneath. You make me roll my...
The controversy didn't slow it down. It fueled it. The song became a massive hit and helped push R&B directly into what would soon be called rock and roll.
Hey, Joe!
Bill Haley and Elvis Presley would later score with sanitized versions, but the soul and swagger belonged to Big Joe. Shake, Rattle, and Roll proved that rhythm, desire, and humor could live in the same groove, even if America wasn't quite ready to admit it yet. Number 9, Fever, by Little Willie John. When Fever dropped in 1956, Little Willie John didn't shout. He whispered, and that whisper caused trouble. Released on King Records, Fever was stripped down and intimate in a way R&B rarely dared to be at the time. No wall of sound, no big band. Just a slow, snapping rhythm and a voice that leaned in close, like it was meant for one person, not the whole room. That closeness made people uncomfortable. Parents called it inappropriate. Radio programmers didn't know where to place it. This wasn't upbeat dance music or playful romance. It felt sensual. The kind of song that made the room go quiet and forced listeners to sit with the feeling. Little Willie John sang with confidence and restraint. You never know how much I love you. Turning desire into atmosphere instead of words. The minimal bass line crept instead of bounced. Every pause felt intentional. Word I say, no one can love me. Every note lingered. Some stations avoided it. Others played it late at night, hoping no one complained. But listeners found it anyway. Know how to love you my way. You give me fever. In dim lounges, parked cars, and quiet bedrooms, where the volume stayed low. Fever didn't just bend the rules of R&B. Even when you hold me tight. It rewrote how intimacy could sound on record. And even after countless covers, none of them ever quite matched the heat of the original. Number 8, Mama, He Treats Your Daughter Mean, by Ruth Brown.
Mama, he treats me badly, make
When Mama, He Treats Your Daughter Mean hit the airwaves in 1953, Ruth Brown wasn't whispering heartbreak. She was announcing it. Released on Atlantic Records, this record swung hard with sass, confidence, and something that unsettled a lot of people at the time. A woman publicly calling out a man for mistreating her. No shame, no quiet suffering, just truth, rhythm, and attitude. In the early 1950s, that was risky. Female singers were expected to sound patient, forgiving, or broken. Ruth Brown flipped the script. She sang like a woman who knew her worth and wasn't afraid to tell her mama and the whole world that something wasn't right. The song's bounce made it danceable. But the message landed heavy. Some critics called it too forward. Others thought it was inappropriate to air relationship problems so boldly on the radio. Church folks frowned. Programmers hesitated. But women heard it. You can picture it spinning in packed dance halls. Girlfriends nudging each other with knowing looks. Shoes stomping in time on wooden floors. This wasn't just entertainment.
Hey, see what time it is? What's the problem? What's the problem?
Number 7. What Did I Say? By Ray Charles. When What Did I Say exploded in 1959, it didn't just shake dance floors, it rattled radio stations, churches,
Can you play it one time on the song?
and parents across America. The song was born almost by accident. Ray Charles was running out of material at a live show, so he started improvising.
Where can I get that record from?
I don't know.
A rolling electric piano riff, a pounding beat, call and response vocals that sounded suspiciously close to something not meant for Sunday morning. And that was the problem. The moans, the shouts, the back and forth between Ray and the Raylettes. To a lot of listeners, it sounded sexual.
That's what I'm talking about now. All of it.
Unmistakably so. Critics accused Ray of dragging gospel energy into the nightclub. Church leaders called it sinful. Several radio stations flat out banned it. But young audiences didn't care. They packed clubs. They danced closer.
Band, follow me, do what I do, say what I say. This is how we're gonna do it.
They felt something electric moving through the room. What Did I Say wasn't polite. It wasn't subtle. It was rhythm, desire, freedom.
I'll take care of it. It's okay. It's gonna be all right.
Well, you know what they say, we got a little bit.
All happening in real time. Despite the backlash, the record became a massive hit and a turning point. It blurred the line between sacred and secular so completely that there was no going back. From that moment on, R&B wasn't just about romance. It was about release, and whether people loved it or hated it, one thing was clear. Music had crossed a line, and it was never stepping back.
Yeah, that's it, man.
Number 6. Good Rockin' Tonight by Wynonie Harris. When Good Rockin' Tonight took over jukeboxes and dance halls in the early 1950s, it wasn't subtle, and that was exactly the problem.
Mama asked, hey boy, what you doing? Put it back.
Wynonie Harris was a born showman. Sharp suits, wide grin, and a delivery packed with swagger. And in this song, the word rockin' carried more than one meaning. Everybody knew it, especially the adults who didn't want young people knowing it. The record celebrated nightlife,
All I got was a scream from a man saying, wait. He said, Ace is a...
movement, and physical freedom at a time when music was expected to behave. Parents complained. Critics warned it encouraged immoral behavior.
Somebody raise me back with raise.
Some venues tried to shut it down entirely, calling Harris's performances dangerous because people danced too hard. But the youth were already sold.
All my gold, she said, stick out your arms, I'll read your palms.
You can imagine it clearly. Packed juke joints, sweat in the air, shoes sliding across worn floors, laughter spilling into the street.
Put it back.
This wasn't music for sitting still. It was music for letting go. Good Rockin' Tonight didn't just cause controversy.
Started raising in a poker game.
It helped ignite the fuse of rock and roll itself. Elvis Presley later covered it. Jerry Lee Lewis absorbed its energy. Little Richard ran with its spirit.
Give it right back to me.
What scared people most wasn't the lyrics. It was the joy. And once that joy was unleashed, there was no stopping it.
No further, stop it. Open your hands and drop it.
Number 5. It's Too Soon to Know by the Orioles.
Or just another play.
When It's Too Soon to Know reached listeners in the early 1950s, the controversy wasn't about sex, swagger, or dancing too close. It was about emotion. Led by the Orioles, this tender ballad introduced something many radio programmers weren't ready for. A black male singer expressing vulnerability without bravado, humor, or bravura. Sonny Till's voice trembles with uncertainty. He doesn't claim love. He doesn't demand it. He simply admits fear. Fear of loving too soon. Fear of being hurt. Fear of hoping. And that softness made people uncomfortable. At the time, black performers were often boxed into roles. Upbeat entertainers, comic figures, or hardened bluesmen. This song broke that mold. Some stations called it too sentimental. Others quietly avoided it altogether. But listeners leaned in. Picture a teenager sitting on the edge of a bed, radio glowing softly in the dark, hearing someone finally say out loud, what they were feeling inside. The song felt private, almost intrusive, like overhearing a diary being read. It's Too Soon to Know became one of the first major emotional R&B ballads, laying the groundwork for doo-wop, soul crooning, and later confessional singers like Sam Cooke and Donny Hathaway. The controversy wasn't scandal. It was permission to feel, to hesitate, and to be honest. Number 4. Big Long Slidin' Thing by Dinah Washington.
That's all I want from you. Don't let me down.
When Big Long Slidin' Thing hit in 1954, nobody needed a dictionary to understand what Dinah Washington was really singing about.
Oh, show me that you care. Remember when...
Officially, the song tells a playful story about a trombone player and his instrument. Unofficially, everybody caught the wink. Dinah Washington delivered the lyric with a raised eyebrow, impeccable timing, and complete control. Her phrasing was sharp. Her tone was teasing. And the innuendo wasn't subtle. It was the point. That's why radio stations panicked. Some banned it outright, calling it indecent.
Stylists, presenting the voice of Dinah Washington and her new Mercury recording of...
Others pretended the metaphor went right over their heads. But audiences in nightclubs and juke joints knew exactly what they were hearing. And they loved it.
Our little love that slowly grows and grows.
Picture the scene. Dim lights, cigarette smoke curling through the air, glasses clinking. Dinah stepping up to the mic in a shimmering dress.
Not one that comes and goes. That's all I want from
Band sliding behind her in perfect sync, the crowd laughing and leaning in closer with every line. This wasn't music for children.
Don't let me
It wasn't trying to be polite. It was grown, clever, and unapologetic. Big long sliding thing mattered.
borrow might not come when dreamers dream too late.
Number 3, The Twist, by Hank Ballard and the Midnighters. Before the world ever said chubby checker, the real troublemaker was The Twist by Hank Ballard and the Midnighters, released in 1959. This version didn't shock people because of lyrics. It shocked them because of movement. The twist didn't require partners to hold each other. No ballroom rules. No polite distance. Bodies moved independently. Hips rotated. Shoulders dipped. Feet slid. And to parents, pastors. And school boards. That looked like pure rebellion. Church leaders warned it would lead to moral decay. PTA meetings were called. Some schools tried to ban the dance outright. Newspapers labeled it dangerous, all over a rhythm. But teenagers felt something else entirely. Freedom. Picture a block party, a record player on a porch. Kids twisting on hot concrete while adults watched in disbelief. No touching. No choreography. Just joy, release, and control over your own body. That's what scared people. Ironically, the backlash only made the song bigger. When Chubby Checker re-recorded it in 1960, the country was already primed. The explosion had been set in motion. Hank Ballard didn't just start a dance craze. He loosened the rules of American culture, one twist at a time. Number 2, Lawdy Miss Clawdy by Lloyd Price.
And over, my friends say I'm a fool.
When Lawdy Miss Clawdy dropped in 1952, it sounded like joy on wax. But to many adults, it sounded like trouble.
You've got personality, walk with personality, talk.
Recorded in New Orleans with Lloyd Price at just 19 years old and backed by Fats Domino on piano, the song rolled with confidence, easy groove.
Honey, love, it's the truth.
Playful swagger, no apologies. And that was the problem. This wasn't polite courtship or chaperoned romance. Lloyd wasn't asking permission.
I'll be over for you. Not over.
He was celebrating young love openly, loudly, and proudly. In the early 1950s, that kind of freedom, especially from a young black artist, made gatekeepers nervous. Radio programmers worried about the attitude. Community leaders feared the effect.
What more can I do? Over.
White teenagers started sneaking into black clubs just to hear it live. Some towns even shut down integrated dances because this song was playing. But the people couldn't resist it. You can imagine it clearly. A humid New Orleans night, doors open, bodies packed shoulder to shoulder, the piano bouncing. While the rhythm spilled into the street, it felt alive. It felt modern. Lawdy Miss Clawdy didn't just cross over to the pop charts. It cracked the wall between R&B and mainstream America and helped light the fuse that would soon become rock and roll. One song, one groove. And suddenly, youth culture had a voice that couldn't be put back in the box. Number 1, A Change Is Gonna Come by Sam Cooke. When A Change Is Gonna Come was recorded, it wasn't just music, it was a reckoning. By the early 1960s, Sam Cooke had already conquered pop,
Somebody keep telling me no.
gospel, and R&B. He was polished, beloved, and commercially safe. But behind the scenes, repeated encounters with racism,
That I thought I could laugh.
including being arrested for trying to check into a whites-only hotel, changed him. This song was his response. Unlike protest records that shouted,
A long time coming.
this one ached. The strings swelled like a heavy sky. The tempo moved slowly, deliberately, and Sam's voice carried quiet exhaustion.
My brother.
Faith and resolve all at once. That restraint is exactly why it frightened radio stations. Some programmers refused to play it, calling it
Like I'm able to carry on.
too political. Others worried it would stir unrest, but listeners understood immediately. This wasn't rebellion, it was truth.
It's gonna come. Oh, yes it will.
When Sam sings, "It's been a long time coming," it sounds like a confession whispered after years of holding it in.
Then I go.
The song became a spiritual anthem for the civil rights movement, played in homes, churches, and hearts long after Sam was gone. Tragically,
It's gonna come. Oh, yes it will.
he never lived to see its full impact. A Change Is Gonna Come stands as the most powerful R&B statement of its era, proof that soul music didn't just make people dance, it gave voice to hope, pain, and the courage to believe tomorrow could be different.
It's been a long